CFR Network, CFR News. Good day, good night. Shalom, wassalam, niha, bonjour, hola, all of the universal greetings. Trust everybody is well. For the UK listeners, I know it's a hot one today. So trustfully, everyone is enjoying the weather and stuff. It's very unusual, like here now. So fun times as we do. Special guest. I have with me the one and only author, paranormal researcher, critical thinker, Chaz of the Dead. How are we, sir?
Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here.
You're most welcome, kind sir. You're most welcome. How has your day been today, sir?
Well, it's been a crazy one. Lots of malfunctions here at home, but that's the life in the paranormal.
Definitely, definitely. We're fighting a good fight. That's the most important thing. All of the
Uh-huh.
trials, tribulations, obstacles, which are challenges, they're all good, man. Fortifies self and makes the day interesting sometimes.
Oh yeah, keeps me on my toes.
Definite. Oh, and also for the listeners, I totally neglected to say this. Thank yourself for tuning in, and also thank yourself for surviving the zombie apocalypse. We made it.
Absolutely,
We
it's a
made
tough
it.
one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like
Mhm.
how I think I know where what your answer is going to be, but how was you affected, if at all, over this last sort of 2+ years that we've been under the 1984 sort of scenario?
Yeah, it's definitely changed my plans a lot. Um, when I investigate the paranormal, but I don't like to do the typical haunted locations in the U.S. UK. I like to branch out and do weird places from all over the world. Places and cases that people are maybe less familiar with. But of course, that kind of got put on hold with a lot of the travel bans and things like
Mm,
that. So you know, that with combined with a rough economy. To be fair, it's always a rough economy when you're a ghost hunter, uh,
yeah, I can
but
imagine.
it's doubly so now. It's been difficult, but I've been able to find some local projects and things that I've been able to gear my passion towards and research new cases and things like that some people have maybe forgotten here in the U.S. Getting into some
Excellent.
UFOs and weird shit that is on the forefront of everyone's mind, but not on everyone's research. So I'm trying to catch everyone up to speed as they are
Yeah.
accepting our new reality.
Very well put. Very well put. I mean, that's a very good point. I think in my early stages of research, study, and enlightenment, and also let me just preface this. I've always been fascinated with number one, sci-fi, fantasy, and the paranormal, the unexplained. That has always, because I've always been the person to ask why, who, and where, and when. Like it's always that. So I've always had that interest, and I guess early 2000s, I really started to look into all of the good old days when YouTube was actually really good. And you
Yeah.
could just spend hours upon hours just going, my God, what on earth? I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. And the next recommendation is another
Hmm.
rabbit hole. So I spent many years going down those multiple different rabbit holes. Some of them were very fruitful. Some of them, unfortunately, were fruitless, but
Yeah.
all part of the journey. So I'm very glad to have you on because I rarely, in essence, have these conversations of late in regards to the paranormal, um, and all of the other subcategories that I guess you would put under that. Because I guess, well, I would say that the UFO phenomenon is
Hmm.
one of the wide, it's the shining star, it's the heavyweight champion
Oh
for
yeah,
most people.
definitely. Yeah, a lot of people have different definitions of the paranormal. Most people think like Zach Baggins, right? Ghost Adventures and the black tap out T-shirt, yelling in the middle of a empty building, and it is a good bit of that. But really, the paranormal it's all of it. It's your Bigfoots, your UFOs, your ghosts, and when you really get into the research and you start on this journey, you might start as a ghost hunter, you might start as a UFO guy, you might start as a Bigfoot hunter, but at the end of that path, you're going to wind up where a lot of us researchers are, realizing that there's something's going on beyond just a man hiding in the woods, or the ghost of an 1800s Civil War soldier. So our
Yes.
reality is a little more wibbly wobbly than we like to give it credit for, and all of these things are manifestations of our uh, misunderstanding of what really is reality.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, lack of knowledge, the dumbing down of society and humanity, pushing us forward to a technocratic sort of like, I guess, Zen-like state, versus really looking at, the and utilizing the five senses.
Yeah. Well, it comes down with the paranormal phenomena, when you really, sit back and observe it. There's these similarities that can't be ignored across, ghosts and UFOs and these things. And in my first book, I wrote about how these similarities that all of these things have in common are also happen to be some of the similar effects you get under the influence of psychedelics. And so, whatever allows, these things that go bump in the night to show up,
Yeah.
it seems to be a biological trigger. At least a portion of it is. There's something in our minds that interacts with reality, and through those interactions, these things, these strange artifacts pop up. And they're so strange and unexplainable that we call them the paranormal. Um, but a few of those similarities are, you have missing time. That's one of the big ones, right? One of the
Hmm.
spookiest details. People
Hmm.
who get abducted by UFOs, they lose these hours of consciousness and they don't know where it goes. There's a famous case in South America. Corporal Valdez, he was hanging out, well, not hanging out, he was on a training mission with his platoon, and they saw this light descend down the hill. He walked off towards it. The light and him vanished for about 15 minutes. And when he returned, he had stubble grown when he was
What?
cleanly shaven before, and his watch was spun forward a week. And they brought in local scientists, professors to interview these guys, and as far as they know, everyone's telling the truth. They reported this, and
What year
you
was
can't.
this, Chaz?
So this would have been, I want to say 86, but I'm
Wow.
not 100% sure that's the exact date. I believe it was in the 80s, though. That's the Corporal Valdez case in Chile, also written about in my book. So that's one good case. It's very similar to the Travis Walton case. He had a similar experience. That's the Fire in the Sky, Arizona case.
Yeah.
A bunch of his lumberjack coworkers saw him get zapped by a UFO. He vanished for a week, and then he was found walking down the street in a dazed confusion a week later, and he thought he'd only been gone for a couple hours. And this is something that happens in ghost cases too. I had a case reported to me.
Oh, sugar.
Hey, sorry.
No problem.